Today we be recapping the recent episode of The Boys, which is episode 7, while also going through the last 2 previous episodes. So sit back and enjoy. The episode 5 of The Boys season 4 centers on the annual V52 Expo, which is Vought's conference announcing the slate of media that will be released that year. We get to see Homelander is seen reliving most of the terrible things he has done, while Sage goes to ask him about his journey back home, but get ignored by Homelander. Looks like he doesn't need her company. At the hospital, Huey is still very much surprised about his dad being awake. He doesn't even believe he has a stroke, cause all he could remember was him just going to the supermarket to get some groceries, and now he found himself at the hospital. However, he believes all this is just all a miracle. Huey then took his mom outside. When he asked her about the whole situation, she admitted to the fact that she gave him the compound V, claiming she thought that was what Huey would have wanted. Huey tells her about the side effects, but she believes all will just work out well. We get to see Firecracker as usual, ranting more about Starlight and her show as she tells everyone that she's now pressing charges on Starlight for an assault. She also with the opinion that she knows Starlight had something to do with Ezekiel's death. Starlight goes out of her office only to find written text all over her office wall. Seeing this made her break down. The scene takes us to MM and Monique Milk, yelling at their daughter as she has just been suspended from her school as a result of fighting. His ex-wife tells MM to fix whatever situation they are in now. Butcher and his old-time friend discuss about them doing the job alone without MM, Huey and co. because he believes Butcher and his crew members are not up to the task and sees them as weakling. Butcher goes back to the boys' kid and is shocked after seeing their facial expressions. He asks why they all look sad. Starlight tells him that she's now somehow been blamed for the death of Ezekiel, which he himself committed. MM then discussed with Butcher on how he eliminated Ezekiel into pieces, to which Butcher swore he had no idea how he did so. Butcher informed the team about his new findings, which is just a virus that kills soups. They all don't believe such stuff really exists, but then Butcher gave them more information on how it was cooked in Godolphin University. He believes it might just work on Homelander, but first they make use of Victoria Neuman as their test subject. The scene shifted to Vought revealing Firecracker's movie trailer titled Firecracker Lord Soldier. Teep also gave a moment of silence for Ezekiel, who had just died. Meanwhile, Sister Sage informed A-Train that she's still in search of the rat who leaked the footage to Starlight, as she believed the footage can't disappear to Starlight all by itself. In a suspicious way, she looked at A-Train. Meanwhile, we see Butcher and MM as they both go to meet Stan Edgar in jail in an attempt to release him if he complied to help them get the virus from Victoria Neuman. Stan Edgar agreed to help them out, but Starlight still insists this was a bad idea. Back at the hospital, Hugh Campbell is happily discussing with his wife and son while also telling Huey that he has always dreamed of going to Paris. Back to MM team, Stan Edgar takes MM crew to Victoria Neuman's safe house, as he believes this is most likely where she would hide important drugs or documents. They enter the building only to find stains of blood all over the place and also a lab. Just then all began bleeding from the nose immediately. Victoria comes in. She gets furious at Stan Edgar because he brought Butcher and his team into her lab, knowing fully well that they want to kill her. After a long conversation, they come to an agreement where they all work together for a common goal. The scene shifted to A-Train's movie trailer and the title been Training A-Train. He gave a speech about his new movie coming out, while also introducing a movie titled Black Added for only the black individuals in the 7. Meanwhile, Homelander asked Ryan about his thoughts on the whole movie thing, so Ryan decided not to act it. As they both leave the office, he asks his father if he isn't mad about his decision, but Homelander tells him no, as he himself has been manipulated by people too much and through his whole life. So he tells Ryan from now on, no more rules, as they are now free to do whatever they both want. Meanwhile, Stan Edgar and Neuman working to their new lab house. While Stan Edgar questioned her about giving her daughter the compound V, Butcher and his team get to a building where they eventually found a dead body. Neuman seemed to recognize the dead man, but just then a chicken then divided one of Victoria Neuman men in two. Seems it has been used as a test rat for Tempe. They all ran out and things get heated between Neuman and Butcher. Victoria then leaked the meeting she had with Butcher to his team, but MM tells them that they just have to continue the mission. Meanwhile, Ashley and Coleman discuss, leading to their breakup, as Ashley is longer in charge of things at the 7 again. Firecracker and Sage discuss, but Firecracker is mad at Sage because it was Sister Sage's plan all along to set her up with Starlight, which led to the conflict she had with Starlight. Neuman tells Starlight that she noticed that she can't seem to get her powers into function. After some heated discussion, Starlight punched Neuman on the face. Butcher then heard a sound only for him to go check it out, just to find dead rabbit and shit coming out from it. He killed it. At the VOD event, Tech Knight arrived on the stage, giving a long speech. Nearby, A-Train goes to tell Ashley about the situation he's into, as Sister Sage seemed to be catching on to him, so she tells her about the leak. Ashley is scared as A-Train just made her an accomplice and she need to tell Homelander, but A-Train threatens, saying either she help him out or they both go down. At the hospital, Hugh Campbell has begun undergoing the side effects of the Compound V. Huey finds his dad in a state they don't understand, as he had just killed a male nurse, ripping his heart off. He continues his runs, leading to multiple casualties. He's even more furious whenever he sees his wife, as he still believes she left him many years ago. A security guy then comes in but was immediately killed by Hugh. The scene cut to Homelander, asking his kid what he really wanted to do, so Ryan replied to him saying he will love to save and help out. To help his son out, Homelander then called Adam, who has been harassing his staff in a weird way. Ryan asked if Adam has been making her uncomfortable, and she replied yes, making Ryan demand Adam apologize to her, which he did so, but Ryan feels Adam isn't serious with his apology. So to teach Adam lesson, Ryan tell the female staff to slap Adam for his act, and she proceeded doing so. This made Ryan happy with his father. Meanwhile, MM and his team continue their walk. Just as they were all discussing, they are all visited by a bull with Tempy. As they planned on what to do with the bull, some Tempy sheep attacked that one particular bull, tearing it into little pieces in the sky. They all began running for their lives. They all ran into a building where Victoria Neuman found Samir, so's dad. He explained to them how they got to this mess. He also told them that the virus to kill Soups are gone, but only just one remaining, which he has. They all argue about how they make use of the last virus. They eventually all agreed on injecting it on one of the dead lab scientists so they could send his body to the sheep and infect them all. At the hospital, Huey tells his father that he is his hero just then. He remembers Huey and he's scared as he doesn't know what is happening to him, and he cried as he can't stop it. Meanwhile, MM plans work, but something began breaking through their roof, and some sheep then comes in, making them ran out, but fortunately for them, the virus had already started taking effect. Meanwhile, they can't find Samir, seems he's dead. MM cut off his deal with Stan Edgar as they didn't get any virus. Just then the cop tell Newman that they couldn't find Dr. Samir, but found only a leg with no body. But just as Stan Edgar is on his way back to his jail, the head of the driver then pop off and Victoria comes in. Meanwhile, at VOD HQ, Homelander asked everyone in the room what does it means to be a hero, and began telling them a speech. He mentioned to talk about the leak of the footage, and he said he think he might have to plug it. Just then, Deep brings in Coleman, as it seems they have just framed him for the leak. Seems to be Ashley doing, and Homelander ordered A-Train and other Soups to beat him to death. Kimiko is worried about Frenchie, as we now see him at the station reporting to the cop that he has committed murder. At the hospital, Huey's dad agreed to his son's plans to put him to rest, as he doesn't want to hurt any innocent person again. Butcher and his old friend seems to have kidnapped Samir, as it was Butcher who cut off his leg off to make it seem like it was the sheep who did so. He ordered Samir to help them make more of those virus. The next episode opens with Billy Butcher and Kessler interrogating Samir. The scientist is initially resistant, but Butcher continues to torment him by poking the stub where his leg was amputated. Butcher tells him he has only a matter of weeks to make the serum or he'll eliminate him. Huey and his mom as they prepare for Hugh Campbell's funeral. Everyone is very sad at the fact that Frenchie had turned himself in for the murder of Colin's parents and many other things he had done. Kimiko goes to meet Frenchie at the station, but they informed her that the inmates, which is Frenchie, refuses to receive any visitation. Meanwhile, Firecracker, who has now taken over Cameron Coleman's time slot on VNN, reports that Coleman is on sabbatical. At the boys' AQ, MM receive a call from A-Train, who is very afraid, as they'd killed Coleman, thinking he was the leak. MM tell A-Train to calm down and they will figure out this whole situation together. So MM goes to inform his team, as he believes Homelander has begun using Soups as his private military, and also told them that Sister Sage was seen talking to Tech Knight about the potential rebellion. So they plan going to the event, which Homelander organized, but firstly, MM goes to Webweaver's rundown apartment, giving him opioids as a payment. Webweaver, already high off of other substances, Huey walks into the apartment and helps MM steal Webweaver's costume. Homelander and his son Ryan then arrive at Tech Knight's mansion for his gala. Homelander is then approached by Tech Knight, who talks about a future team-up, but Homelander says that his and Sister Sage's rebellion is not a team-up. Huey puts on the Webweaver costume in front of the crew, and they all laughed while also complaining about this bad smell, which Emma assures him will help throw Tech Knight off their scent. Huey walks into Tech Knight's mansion wearing the costume and is shocked to find the 7 in attendance. While planting bugs around the party, Huey meets Neuman, but she fails to recognize him. Tech Knight approaches the disguised Huey, also unable to recognize him. Tech Knight talks about his excitement over hiring Webweaver as his sidekick. Meanwhile, Neuman and Homelander had some discussions as he implies that he suspects that Neuman broke Edgar out of prison. Nearby, Webweaver and Tech Knight go on a tour, and he went on showing him his tech cave. But as they did so, Emma lost signal with Huey. Huey is surprised by all this. Tech Knight told him he doesn't like people who lie and began using his powers on Huey to see if he's lying. But he just believed Webweaver. Huey is just really afraid by all he had seen. Meanwhile, the Deep finds Blackmore drinking maskless. Moore talks about how he feels unimportant to the team, and not being able to keep up with Moore's bizarre personality. He then reveals to the Deep that he is quitting the 7, but Deep convinces him to stay by threatening him. Panicked Annie expresses that they need to go inside the mansion, fearing Huey's fate. So they did so, breaking into Tech Knight's mansion, fearing that Huey will be exposed and killed. We see Butcher vomiting his guts out as he now very ill. He hallucinates Becca, where she questions his end goal of killing Homelander, only to stand with another. Neuman imagines blowing up her own head while listening to Callahan mansplaining abortion. Victoria Neuman expresses her growing frustration to Sage. Sister Sage then informed Neuman that she had the knowledge to cure cancer and other deadly diseases, but then what is the point as she believed all human are animals? Firecracker goes to meet up with Homelander, Sage and Neuman, but immediately get thrown out of their conversation. At Tech Knight Cave, they brought a cake for Webweaver since it's his favorite. They began performing some herogasm together. Just then Ashley comes in and she's angry they all started without her, and they both hug. Butcher is still very ill and he discussed with his friend who motivated him, saying the real him loved the sound of scream. Nearby at the event, Firecracker is in tears as she just got rejected by Homelander himself. Just as she walked out of the restroom, she came across Starlight, who informed her she's not here for her. Firecracker talked about what Starlight did to her when she was younger. Starlight apologized to her while also preparing to stab with an injection, which she eventually did so. Tech Knight goes to meet Webweaver and found out that he's still afraid. He became suspicious and went on removing his mask only for him to find Huey. He sees this as a good news to him, as he only not get point for catching him, but before he exposed him to Homelander, he get to design a hole in Huey's body. And Kimiko discovers Sister Sage rummaging through Tech Knight's library, resulting in holding the suit at gunpoint. Sage begins to mock about his daughter, causing him to shoot her in the head, just as Kimiko activates the elevator to the tech cave. In shock at his actions, collapses, causing Kimiko to convince A-Train to take him to a hospital. Annie and Kimiko then take the elevator to the tech cave and attack Tech Knight before he harms Huey. Meanwhile, we see Homelander discussing to Sage about their plan, but it seems she isn't okay, as part of her brain are all messed up. Homelander then went on with the plans. He began his talk in front of the intoxicated GOP donors, claiming that President-elect Robert Singer will destroy the country, while also saying Neuman is on their side. But when he was asked about how to prevent the consequences on how it will affect the nation, he couldn't answer. Neuman then steps in, claiming that she is the mastermind, denouncing democracy, promising them that she will make sure that their businesses will receive zero government interference. At Tech Knight Cave, Annie and Kimiko have now tied up Tech Knight and proceeded to torture him, which only arouses him. Tech Knight's former sidekick breaks free from his restraints and hands Huey his laptop. Having gained access to all of Tech Knight's bank accounts, the three begin to send all of his money to liberal causes, which hurt him so bad. He tells them about the plans Homelander and Sage had about internment camps, as they need places across the country to put their dissidents. Immediately, his assistant began torturing him as he planned making his death look like an accident. At the hospital, Emma is okay as it was just a panic attack, but he needs rest to avoid a heart attack. Kimiko returns to the prison where Frenchie is being held and tells the guard that she has nowhere else to go. Firecracker informed Homelander that Starlight was at the mansion and also informed him that Tech Knight is dead. Just then, Homelander figured out that Coleman wasn't the leak, as how did they get the information about the party? Homelander now believes he can't trust anyone at the 7 at least until he find the leak. So for Firecracker to prove herself to Homelander, she began unzipping her suit, But Homelander then tells her he is not sexually attracted to her. But she told him it not about that, but about loyalty, and begs spilling things on him. Homelander is surprised as she isn't pregnant. She explained to him how she did it, while Homelander is amazed by all this, like how she all did all that for just him. Annie watch a recording of Neuman's speech. Annie tries to talk to Huey, but he is too traumatized by what happened to him at the tech cave. We said Butcher bringing Samir the material to create the virus. The scientist tearfully confesses that creating a strain of the virus powerful enough to kill Homelander would be unstable and become airborne, killing every single soup on Earth, which includes Annie, Kimiko, Ryan. He argued with his friend, only for us to realize he was not real and all was just an illusion. He was simply just a figment of Butcher's imagination. Episode 7 start with VOT Christmas special program, where we see Ryan talking to A-Train teddy bear lookalike. It complained about how people kept on hating black soups, but Ryan doesn't feel comfortable shooting the scene, so he asked the crew to cut. He went on to meet the director about it, but get informed that all the scenes were approved by his father, Homelander. At headquarters, Sage is very surprised that the meeting had started earlier than planned without her, but Firecracker informed her that she changed the time. Homelander immediately disposes Ashley out of the room. He then asks Sage about the leak, but she replied saying they are making inquiries. This made Homelander mad as he already found the bud which Huey had placed at the event. Homelander is angry that all they had planned has been exposed to Billy Butcher team. Meanwhile, Firecracker kept on making up issues for Sage, which Sister Sage noticed. A-Train listened to all they had said. Deep began talking to his octopus girlfriend, which she told him about how happy she was last night with Deep. Just then, Deep got a message. Obviously, this was from Sister Sage. Deep rushed to go to his duty with Sage. At the boys' headquarters, Annie talked to her mother, who was furious about Starlight abortion. She told Starlight about Huey saving her suit. So immediately she goes to check it out, and she tells Huey she doesn't even like the suit anymore, which Huey agreed with her. He then disposed it. She explained to Huey why she did the abortion, as she doesn't want to bring any child into this world to suffer. We see A-Train taking a picture of Sage giving documents to a guy. He gave the picture to Mother Milk. Just as they all discuss, Butcher then came in. He told them about Dr. Samir, and he has been working for him to make some of those virus. Mother Milk is mad at Butcher, who still kept on with his information, telling them about the soup's massive elimination if such virus ever get released. Meanwhile, Butcher brought Frenchie back to the team as he pulls some strings to do so. Ryan then goes to Homelander's room only to find a gift wrapped. He opened it and found a picture of Butcher and his mom. At the boys' headquarters, Mother Milk informed the team that he won't be going with them for the mission, as he has some duties to do first with his ex-wife Monique. The whole team doesn't want Butcher to leave as his brain are all messed up. But Mother Milk left. At an apartment, Monique Milk arrived and he gave her $10,000 cash and told them to fly out of the country. He believed crazy things is about to happen. He apologized to her, but just then she kissed MM. She told him to come with them, but he then told her that he can't. The scene cut to VOT News announcing the death of Cameron Coleman, while Ashley watched in tears. A-Train came in, but Ashley isn't having all of that, as she informed him that she is now done. She is mad as she was the one who framed Coleman, and she believes she is a monster. She told A-Train what if they both leave the 7. A-Train told her to get herself together, as the both of them, life is in her hands. Butcher and his team get to their destination, where A-Train also see them. Butcher and his team goes into a building apartment, only to find it empty as no one was inside. Huey found some classified documents. Just as they all looked into it, they heard a sound, seemed like someone is in the building. They go check it out, and found a young woman. She informed them that they killed her husband. She recognized Starlight, but just then, she began attacking them all. She ran out, but while she did so, she used her power to possess an old woman, while she also tearing up her skin. She changed into the old lady as she is now a shapeshifter. A-Train goes to meet MM and asked him why he wasn't with his teammates. They both discussed, to which M informed him that their problem and this fight won't ever end, as it took his family away from him. A-Train managed to convince him to stay at the end. At Butcher hidden lab with Samir, he informed Frenchie that this full lab can't produce good enough virus, but Frenchie told him to just do what he can. Homelander gave a voice message to Ryan, asking him to go shoot the movie, and he should please do it for him. Now it looks like Firecracker already got who is meant to be the leak. We eventually found out it was Webweaver, who is very terrified of Homelander. He shot Web, and Homelander asked him about how it all works with William Butcher. Webweaver then informed Homelander that Butcher comes to him for information, and he just tells him what he needed to know. He begs Homelander, but Homelander goes to eliminate him in a very crazy way, making Firecracker very traumatized by this. At the lab, Frenchie gave Kimiko food and told her that he missed her. He also told her that he was ashamed and he needed to turn himself in. She told Frenchie about why she can't speak a single word. In a flashback, she showed how she was in a fight where she eliminated a girl without making any sound. Then at that moment she lost her voice due to fear and shock. So they both agreed to set Samir free once he is done. The Deep then get back to his room, but he isn't treating his octopus girlfriend right. She also informed Deep that she knows about Sage. Deep tried to lie about the whole situation and both began arguing, making him break the water, which make it difficult for her to breathe. She begged him for her life. Homelander then talked to Deep, seems he is lost in thought. He goes to meet Victoria Neuman while also bringing her snack. He tried convincing Victoria Neuman to just stop her plans to eliminate the singer, but she'd asked him to leave while also apologizing to Huey about his father's death. Meanwhile, Deep goes to the boys' headquarters, as it seems Homelander had ordered him to eliminate them. Not only Deep but with Black Noir, a fight breaks out, with Deep hitting Starlight. While Butcher then shot Black Noir, but just as Black Noir approached Butcher, he then fell to the ground, only for Noir to wake up and throw Butcher to the ground. At this moment, they are helpless, so Butcher asked Kessler to do whatever it did to Ezekiel now. A train then came in just in time, and they are shocked that he was the leak. A train began fighting with the Deep while Butcher is surprised that Black Noir flies. Comes in shooting Black Noir, while the team then take care of Deep. Starlight finished the job, but they kept Deep alive and left their headquarters. Meanwhile, A-Train ran back to meet Ashley, informing her that Deep and Noir knows he is the leak, so he planned to leave with Ashley. Ashley told him she can't and informed him not to forget to cut out his trackers. The boys goes to the bar to have some drink. Starlight asked Butcher about who Kessler was. Called Monique and told her he won't be coming with them. Meanwhile, we get to see Homelander crying as he is very sad that A-Train betrayed him. So he asked Firecracker about A-Train location, but she told him that he left the city, even with his family. Sister Sage comes in, and she is very mad at them for going after Butcher team. She told them that she knew A-Train was the leak, stating she was using A-Train to push Butcher team into a trap, as it was all part of her plan. This made Homelander angry as she kept this from him, so he sent Sage back home, removing her from the Seven. He also asked Firecracker to get out. Black Noir and Deep are still surprised by all this, and Sage told them that Homelander just fired her, but just then Noir called Sage babe while also saying he loves her. Deep is surprised by this. At the boys' lab, Samir is done with the virus and also found a way to free himself. He then shot Kimiko with the virus, which Frenchie then cut off her leg, and the plan worked. Frenchie tell the team about the mess, and they don't know if the virus can work on Homelander, but now they want to test it on Victoria. Ryan listened to the voice note his father left for him and proceeded to shoot the movie. Ryan isn't having all of this and told him to keep rolling. He talked to them that he has been thinking about his mother lately, and while also saying she really loved Christmas, and she would not be happy seeing him do such program. Butcher is proud of his son, but as he left, he slummed and lost consciousness. Huey informed Annie that he went to see Victoria, but just then Annie comes in with her suit on. The two began creating love. Meanwhile, at midnight, Annie goes to her safe, but at this moment, we found out that this wasn't Starlight. The scene cut showing us the real Annie been trapped, and we get a flashback on how this had happened. Starlight tried to break out, but can't. The episode then came to an end. The last episode would be uploaded next week Thursday on our channel, so do well to subscribe. Also, thanks for watching if you made it this far.